First, welcome everybody. I want you to breathe at your own pace as deep as you can, because if you saw my video for 222, you know that the Ascension Frequencies are continuing to come in on an almost daily basis, even though people are picking certain days for the energies to be the most intense. I'm already getting a full body shiver as I say this. So if you believe that you're on some kind of path, evolutionary path, as you're breathing, why don't you try opening your crown and opening your body and opening your cells to those frequencies right here and now while you're in this room as a group, and group energy is very powerful, and say yes.
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 To your cells, to your body. Many of you are dealing with physical ailments, things that would be associated to, quote, old age. Why don't we just dispel that together? And that's a definite rejection, right? We don't need that. We want to be the best we can be at any age. Eleanor just had her 89th birthday. Still kicking and screaming, and because she's lived past 88, she's had her third, she is in her third Saturn return. And we are both parallel, we both have the same Saturn. I'm in my second Saturn return. I'm going to be 59. So that's really incredible. 3 Saturn returns in one lifetime, that's a lot. If you make it to 88, the 88 to 90 time, you have accomplished something. Don't know what that is, but you definitely accomplished something.
It takes a long time to get there.
Yes, it does. And I don't have patience, I might not make it, I don't know. We'll see. I've been working on patience this entire lifetime, and I don't get an A for that, or an A minus, or a B plus. But Heather would say I'm very patient, because Heather and I worked together last year. So let me just welcome everybody. Welcome to the Salvatore Ascension Frequency Vibrational Human Evolutionary Multidimensional Galactics Mediumship Comedy Hour.
Thank you.
Old versus new is our theme. This has nothing to do with age, so don't be offended. So, because COVID was the umbrella for the last 2+ years, within that umbrella were a lot of things hiding for us to discover. One of the messages I got early on was that COVID was a mass exit plan for many souls. So we know that part is true, but that's only one simple layer for those souls. Some that had illnesses that would have them linger for years, some that it came up suddenly and got them out of here. 2 of my family members in New Jersey, husband and wife, aunt and uncle to me, died of COVID, one 2020, one 2021, within about 6 months of each other. They were not old. The one had a very rough life with epilepsy, and my uncle was as strong as an ox. So those were my personal shockers to the family under this umbrella. In January, though, I got to experience something that was not in my conscious mind, that I thought I was not connected to. I had made clear decisions about COVID and my experience of COVID. And yet, when I welcomed my parents here, after 7 years of not seeing them, we all got COVID. And I thought, wow, this is very interesting. And of course, I wanted to blame somebody, because I wasn't even wearing my mask. I had finally let go of the mask thing, but I always had it in the car in case somebody was worried, or, I would put it on. And if you know me and you've watched my YouTube channel, TheMediumbyDesign is the YouTube channel. There are 89 free videos. No one has paid me for YouTube. And it's all there, right from the beginning of COVID. all my channel, not every channeling, but a lot of the channelings, a lot of the messages, and they are all incredible, and there's a lot of famous people on there, and in December I did videos with personal messages from my family members that died. And the one thing I noticed about my expression and what I share personal. And on the internet, I see a lot of people, guru energy, on their pedestal, sharing with no personal. And to me, how do I know who you are? If you don't share anything about your life experience, why should I listen to you? And here's the second thing about COVID that came up that I hope you all got. Discernment was at the top of the list for us to really get clear. I started watching YouTube like an addict when this started, because I was home. What was I gonna do?
You did the same thing.
And prior to COVID, I have a lot of visitations and writings with Jesus, so I do that, and then I have all these beings, and now we have ETs, that's on my YouTube page too. The first ship over my house, 2 messages from them, ETs, aliens, whatever you want to call them. This year is going to be a phenomenal year for messages from ETs. I already got that, so that's going to be part of my writing, besides other things that I do. So that's going to be fun. So this discernment thing, I know a lot of people that are addicted to stimulation and information, and they have stayed on that track and continued to listen to many, many people all over the internet. And one thing that happened, one way, somebody explained it this way: when you're sitting there listening to something, what is this doing when you're listening? What is your mind doing? What's your heart doing? What's your body doing? That's where your discernment is easy. Because as soon as you get a signal, ooh, you're off. Change channel. But a lot of people don't. Well, it's not going to hurt me. You know, let me see what else they're going to. And I'm one of these people. I put something on, and I don't want to, I'll give them a shot. Let me see what they're going to, maybe the next moment's going to be better. It's just like a bad movie. You know, the latest thing is I can't find anything to watch. This last week, I'm on Netflix, I'm on Amazon Prime, I'm on all these things. I got a free website that puts out brand new movies. I'm on there. I'm searching through hundreds of things. I can't find anything that catches my attention. And I'm like, are you telling me I shouldn't be watching anything? You know? So the discernment thing is up there at the top of the list. These are all the easy things, right? So let's get back to the parents come. I joke that, and Eleanor knows this very well, Heather knows, Andrea knows, Kathy knows some of it too. I have not seen them in 7 years. He's 81 now, she's 78 or 79, 78. And so it was a big reunion. I'm like, and I'm Italian. Italians don't do that. You don't not see your parents. You know, and even after they die, you see them. Because a lot of Italians are very mediumistic. And from southern Italy, Italians, a lot of them are mediumistic, and we see them after they die, right? That's where my genetic makeup for being a medium comes from. One linear place it comes from, but then we know it past life. Okay, so we got 10 or 12 days of what I would call almost bliss. It was really good. I got to introduce them to some people. Eleanor took them on a tour of Sun City because my mother wanted to move here. This was her dream. She wanted one last new, remember this whole thing is about new and old, right? She wanted one new experience before she died, and she kept saying from New Jersey, I think we're sitting here waiting to die, and I don't want to die here. So she stated her dream, she had her intention, she can't have it. Well, why can't she? Well, she's still married, and most of you that are single know what that's like when you were married. You know that the two spirits come together, and in the beginning you think it's bliss, and then at some point it's like,
It's not.
I gotta give up this, I gotta give up that, I gotta shrink my spirit, I have to do, and the reason that I'm saying this, starting with the relationships, is because that's what I did when they showed up. I shrunk my spirit, I moved out of the way, and did nothing for myself. I changed my whole being. They wanted to take over my kitchen, my refrigerator. They wanted to throw out things in my refrigerator and bring in only what they use. You know? And my one new friend said, that's kind of rude. But they are the parents. They are from New Jersey. Well, he's Italian, she's German, so they're both stubborn and pig-headed and ignorant and whatever else you want to say. And thank God they don't use the internet, because if I put this on YouTube, I didn't even put this story on YouTube yet because I'm so sensitive to, oh, they're still breathing. Maybe I'll wait till they're dead when I can't do anything. But, okay, so they come in. Now we have these 10, 12 days, I can't remember exactly the timeline, and then we all get sick. And my father and I start first, and then my mother gets it later. He has the most intense case, and there's all this death energy around him. And I can see, now my father's a Leo, so he never tells you what he really feels. It's always fake, to boost his ego, right? So I'm looking at his eyes, and I can see he's scared to death. And my father doesn't even, he's Leo, he's strong-willed, he doesn't really get scared to death. This is a rare occurrence, right? So, I knew I had to get into action because I didn't want them dying here, because then my sister on the East Coast would blame me. And I'm not dying yet, so I have to put up with that shit for years, possibly decades. So I'm like, you're not dying on my watch. I'm shipping you back to New Jersey. So through Heather and Dave and an urgent care, those are the three, oh, and an Ivy, the Ivy company, those 4 ingredients got us through COVID. And we did very well. It did not go into the lungs. I did see some weird stuff coming out with my neti pot that looked alien. Here. I don't know what all that was. I used the neti pot for at least 10, 15 years. I've never seen that come out of my body before. So that's as graphic as I'll get it with that. So anyway, getting back to this old versus new. Now what happened just a couple of days before, I should give you a little precursor to why they were even here. They weren't here just to see me. That it's not just a family reunion. He had sold, now this is getting back old new, he had sold their investment building where our business was, and someone else has that business for the last 20 years. We had a dry cleaning business for 25 years. We bought the building during that time, and that was their retirement. There were 3 tenants there, although through COVID there were only 2. And he decided, because if he does, when he does die, my mother is very dysfunctional. She has some mental illness, and she can't do that. He handles everything. So at least his consciousness was aware enough that he had to clear some of this old energy that would be a big burden to my mother, and then to me and my sister we have to take over. So he got rid of that. After 38 years of ownership, that was big, and I gave him credit. I said, I am so happy that you made that decision. This is great. It was really big. This is a big thing for Italians to make big changes. It's big. And that was our family business, and I worked there for years. So anyway, he does that. So he hears about the 1031 exchange. I'll give you a little real estate thing, not too much. 1031, you sell investment property. The money all goes to a company to hold. You find another investment property in 45 days.
Whoa.
That's it. And then you bring that information to the company, and then whatever you spend out of that money, you don't pay taxes. Whatever money goes into that new property, that's tax-free until you sell that next investment property. It's very, very basic. It's very easy. But it wasn't easy for him. because nothing's easy for him. They came into this life that if it's not hard, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Now, this is all old energy. This is not true. And you can see where you do this. This is old energy, locked into perceptions that are not true. Don't trust any other humans. That's another thing. There's no trust with him for any other humans, not even me. So, anyway, he comes out here with the intention of getting an investment property. Me and the realtor found one in the price range. Jesus was with me. I wrote a whole message about this property. It was a screaming yes. Well, 10 days in, pretending and smiling at the realtor, some old energy came screaming to the front of him, and he debauched everything. His fear of moving forward, his fear of losing money, any fear you can name was all in this package of old. And then I nicknamed him the Destroyer, because they came and destroyed my reality with all of this old energy. And I felt like my soul betrayed me because my intentions were clear. I thought I was done. Jesus had told us, and I think I had this message the last time I met with you guys. Jesus had said the way humanity needs to move forward is to consciously release slavery, suffering, survival, and there's one more, and I always forget it.
Blame.
Another S. It was another S. There were 4 S's. Sorry. Blame is good, though.
Sacrifice?
Huh?
Sacrifice?
Sacrifice. That's it. So these 4 energies are all old, and yet all of you carry them somewhere in some place in your being, including me. So let's jump ahead. Let's talk about ascension. People believe that they're on an ascension path. I have really sad news. There's no path. In order to be on the path, you have to be able to surrender everything. It is nothing to do with what you want. It is about your soul's evolution. And that is the sad truth. It's like the sad truth that we're all going to die. That's a fact, right? Well, this is ascension. And people are still, even, especially the ones online, that I just want to, if I knew them, I'd be like, who are you kidding? You know, I'd get very Italian jersey on them. Because there's a lot of these people, a lot of people out there are in this illusion of who they think they are and what path they think they're on, and it's all bullshit. And that's the third big level, not only discernment, but the third big piece of this corona transition is to see who's who. It's not just discerning, but it's to see clearly. Okay? You're looking at people, what is your intuition saying about these people? And you know what? It doesn't even have to be true for everybody. Here's another piece of the puzzle. Every individual's energy will touch another individual differently. The way I am with you, somebody may not see me this way. And there's nothing I can do about it. I used to say this in the group. Remember, I used to say, what's not to love? Right? That's my joke. But there are people that hate my guts. There are people putting horrible comments on my YouTube videos. 2 people insist that Dolores Cannon said, because I have many messages from Dolores Cannon, 2 people insist that she said she would never be channeled. So they have to make sure I know that. I've got 9 messages from Dolores Cannon. She's being channeled, whether you believe it or not. I don't care.
How do you really feel?
Well, there's another comment, because one woman does not like me getting demonstrative. You should just read the message. You need a little coaching on public speaking. She doesn't like all my energy coming out on the video. She just wants the message.
Go to someone
Now,
else.
you see this fist? This is going to get New Jersey. This is how I feel about that. Okay? I'm being demonstrative, and I don't care. I told you we're going to laugh. Yeah, because here's what you got. Spiritual people telling you, find your unique gifts, be yourself, express yourself, right? Madonna started that phrase. 25 years ago, express yourself. Be you. Be unique. Find who you really are. Find the true you. Find the authentic you. Be authentic. Have credibility. Then there's this other group. No, I don't want that. Oh, wait a minute. Which way do we go? Do we keep pretending to be something that we're not? Like my father smiling at the realtor. The realtor's here. Becky's in the back. She knows. We have gone over this and hashed it out. She has heard me scream. She was one of the ones that he's smiling to. Oh, yes, we're going to buy a piece of real estate. Oh, no, we're not. No, no, no. The old energy is going to take over, and I'm not going to do nothing. So, here's a couple. Oh, let's take a break from that. I'm going to read a couple of old versus new and see if this plugs into your life. Because these are some of the notes that I took. Oh, and then I have a message from the Galactic Federation Council just for you, written this morning, fresh off the press. Okay. These are really simple. The old way. Plan, hold on to agendas, hold on to what I want, and manipulate to get it. That is old energy.
Yes.
The new energy. State your desire, what you want to experience, want to have, free and clear, meaning you're not being taxed or burdened for this thing that you want. Be led to the steps to the outcome through inspired action. Now, let's take a minute. Inspired action is a very weird way. Very different. We weren't brought up that way. We were brought up with lists and have-tos. And today, this has to happen. If this doesn't happen, I'm a failure. I'm not productive, right? These are old tapes, right? This is old program. This is not, I'm not talking rocket science. No matter how far up I go in the evolutionary messages and chain, it's not that complicated. Here's another old. I want it at the cost of others. I want my desires met, my personal desires, no matter what. And even if that hurts or costs from someone else. The new way is a win-win for all. I only engage if it's a win-win. That means I don't have to sacrifice. I don't have to be of service for no reason. If I'm going to be of service, something has to return. Now, the spiritual people think, oh, I don't need anything. I'm just going to give the last ounce of my soul, and then you can kill me. It doesn't matter. That's what Jesus did, and I have Christ consciousness. So just, can we build a new cross, a little modern design, and hang me up? How many people do you know that when they engage, it's a win-win? Think about this. Take this stuff with you. Put it in your mind somewhere in the file, and just notice when you're engaging with anybody, do you feel that pull of they know what you got and they want it? Mm-hmm. Or are they coming to you, I'd like you to share with me, and I'm going to share this with you. Those two energies are so different, and the first one makes me want to puke. Again, getting back to discernment, as soon as you feel the pull of another person, and let me tell you, my whole life I've had this, and why have I had it? Why does anybody have that where people pull from you? Well, give me one word that has something to do with?
Strength.
Ego.
Strength,
Guilt.
Control.
Guilt.
guilt.
And control.
Your light.
There we go.
Your light.
Of course, the other Aries. Of course, she would say what I wanted.
What'd you say?
She said, "Your light."
Yeah.
If you're truly on an ascension path, your body, when you first start out, all your soul's light is not in the body. That's what the path is all about. I don't know why. I didn't even ask this question. I don't think I've written about it, but I don't remember everything. So I may have written this. But my understanding at this moment in time in this room is that as you go along your path, your body keeps opening to more light, and that light keeps expanding, right? Now, it doesn't mean you don't have any light when you're a child. People see children that are bright lights, but a lot of that light is more on the outside than the inside. It's their soul's energy is around them, right? And in simplistic terms. So I had this ever since I was a kid. I was a different kid. I saw things that nobody saw. I was made fun of for that. I'm not going to review, I told a really good story about that, but it's not important now. But just know that this happens to a lot of us. The old soul energy is alive from birth. All the wisdom is not there, but there are things that might come out of us as children that make my mother go, how does he know that? You know, she knew something was up with me when I was still in the crib, just learning how to speak. So, you know, you can't be shy about these things. This is how it is. This is the energy that we each carry. You have to know what that is. And if there's old holding your soul, remember, if you're really holding on to perceptions, beliefs, limitations, your soul doesn't even have a chance to blossom through you. Because you're cutting it off. That's what free will does. Free will opens the door, or as my father did, slams the door. And that's why I always spoke to you guys about free will. To me, free will is a joke. I don't even think we should have it. I really don't. I think more humans are stepping in free will shit and creating more garbage because they don't know any better. Here's the other joke. And I had talks with the Galactic Council and the other councils about this. This reincarnation game cycle is bullshit. Why should an old soul agree to come back here and not remember anything?
Yeah, makes no sense.
I've had thousands and thousands of lifetimes. I've experienced almost every single thing you can experience. Jesus has said you're one of the oldest souls to come back to the earth. My mind can't even fathom what that means. The earth is billions of years old. How old is this soul? And why on earth did I agree to come back to this shit? Really? And not remember, why did I sign that soul agreement? You're going to come back, and you're going to have to stumble through, just like everybody else, and you're going to remember bits and pieces, little bits and pieces, that'll get you by. How disgusting. That's like the worst business contract you could have. Trump wouldn't have signed that. Never.
But he did.
So, let's move on. Here's an example of the win-win opposite. We're all going to lunch. Someone states, we have to go there. Without pausing, without asking, where is the best place for all of us? Do you see the difference? We're all going over here. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't feel that. Doesn't matter. That leader of the pack said we're going there. Now, when I go out with Andrea or even Heather or anybody, if we're going out to eat, we look at the options and we come to agreement. That's what win-win is. We're not attached. Oh, today we really have to go here. No, we don't. Saying you have to do something is an ego thing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go there. You don't have to do this. Most things that we say we have to do today can wait till another day. There's hardly anything that matters now in this new 5D way of living. You just say what you want and see if it shows up. See if you get inspired action. It's not about pushing. Now, coming from me, Italian, New Jersey, Aries, Leo moon, Virgo energy, a little Scorpio energy. Do you think I want to make things happen? Do you think I might be a little bit addicted to, let's see what I can create?
Yep.
Which brings us to another layer of COVID, personal creativity. Now, the ones online that I love cover this because they knew that that forced stop was going to help people look at themselves and make changes. Now, it's not just individuals. Companies had to make changes. They had to change their creative flow, how they do business, so it's if we're really open, it could be, the potential of this transition could be amazing. Because changing the creative flow and raising the bar of that can really make our lives infinitely better. Infinitely. So that's another piece of the COVID, under the COVID umbrella. Let's go back to the old versus new with the parents, because they're not gone yet. They stayed a little longer. Because we all had to get through 2 weeks of COVID, right? They couldn't just go. So we're into that second week, and we're all able to talk, but COVID affected our minds, all three of us. My father was having weird dreams. My mother wound up with a severe pain in her head, and I couldn't think straight. I couldn't get a thought. My thoughts were all messed up. So my father declares, we're leaving. Wow, we're not even better yet. We're already packing the car. Because he declared it, right? Again, he's the king cheese. He's telling the universe, I don't care if my wife's got a fucking pain in her head. I don't care if we're not better. We're getting in the car and we're driving 4 days.
Oh my God.
And we don't go to hotels. We drive straight through and stop at rest areas. At 81 years old. So I said this to Eleanor and Andrea and Heather, tell me this is not insanity. Tell me that this man is not crazy. Now, I got corrected. No, this is normal in his world. Be compassionate. That's his normal. Okay, well, he can take his normal, get in the car, and drive 3,000 miles away from me and never come back. And eventually, this is what happened. This is where I got to see things I didn't want to see. I got to see his insanity because I kept him on a pedestal. This is the man that taught me about business, real estate, how to work on cars. He taught me everything. He was the one that passed down in his genes the space planner that Heather has first hand at, the one who has vision. That comes from my father. My mother has no vision. She can't see anything. If she has to copy what she sees from something else. But my father and I don't have that. We walk into a room and we see. So he has given me a lot, right? And now this experience is I get to see his crap side that I don't want to see and knock him off the pedestal and come to the realization that this old that he's projecting cannot be near me. So let's go to another piece of the code.